Hey there, welcome to another episode of FSU Weather. I'm student meteorologist Colby Pope, and that time lapse from this morning, we had the clouds that filtered through about lunchtime. We even had a couple showers move through there about 3 o'clock. And we're starting to see cloud cover take over, but we are starting to have some clearing through the capital city. Had those showers and storms that moved through. Now they're starting to predominantly be around the East Point and Panama City areas. Some lightning associated with those, so we're going to have to watch out as we have those evening plans. Those temperatures, though, very comfortable in Quincy, where they have seen that rain there at 77 degrees, a warm 88 here in Tallahassee. Much warmer there in Bainbridge, where it's been all sunshine for them. Tonight we do have a lot to talk about in our show. We do have Tropical Storm Chris, that's right off the Carolina coast. We'll have lower rain chances into the rest of the week, and that will translate into temperatures in the mid-90s. And we'll have that full forecast for the entire week. And now I'm going to hand things off to Michael with a look locally.
Yeah, thanks. Due to the showers and storms nearby, once again, as Colby alluded to earlier. Now temperatures, you can see 88 here in Tallahassee. We didn't get much rainfall. The airport didn't receive any rainfall as of 6 o'clock. 77 in Quincy, rain cooled 77 in Quincy, and then 90 up towards Bainbridge. That's our hot spot because full sunshine right there. Dew points, pretty normal dew points for July. 73 in Tallahassee, 75 in Thomasville, and 75 in Quincy. Now the surface winds, you can see how we have that sea breeze slowly moving north, and that's what's been causing some of the showers and storms today. The other cause of the showers and storms has been because of a stalled out boundary. You can see right here, look at where the showers and storms just end. North of that, you're getting much drier air, much more comfortable air. Atlanta, Columbia, Greenville, your dew points are in the 60s behind that stalled out front. Locally here in Tallahassee, we have a lot of that shower activity, again, due to that stalled out boundary, and then also the sea breeze causing showers along Apalachicola, East Point, and Carabel. Now, for the next few hours, those showers and storms die off with the loss of the daytime heating. And now tomorrow, we're not expecting much shower activity because that stalled out boundary will just move just enough south to give us some of that drier air. In addition to the circulation of Chris, that northerly flow around Chris will allow us the drier air to filter in much more better into the Tallahassee region tomorrow. So we're not expecting much shower activity, but with the less shower activity, it's going to be much hotter, so be prepared for that. Tonight's forecast, 73 in Tallahassee, 71 in Monticello. Showers and storms will die off in the nighttime hours with the loss of the daytime heating. Locally in Tallahassee, 73 with the storms early, and then once we get into around sunset, they'll die off, and then the clouds will dissipate as well. Now tomorrow, with that drier air filtering in, it's going to be much hotter. You can see 93 in Tallahassee, 95 in Bainbridge, and 93 in Thomasville. For the 7-day forecast, we will remain in that dry air for the short term up until Thursday, but then the wind pattern will change. We'll get the southerly flow back, and that will allow our showers and thunderstorms, the typical summertime pattern, to return by Friday and into the weekend and into next week. Now let's send it back off to Colby with the national forecast.
Well, thanks, Michael. Let's take a look nationally, and very uncomfortable conditions out west. Look at that, 99 degrees in Salt Lake City, 84 down in Los Angeles. We look back to the east, 83 there in Memphis, 90 in Atlanta, 88 down in Tallahassee. So glad we're not dealing with what we're seeing there in Salt Lake City, almost a century mark there. Now your dew points across the country now. Dew point is the temperature at which dew does form. And out west we do have drier conditions, 41 degrees there in Denver, 48 over in Salt Lake City. Notice though this moisture coming out of the Gulf of Mexico is making it all the way up into Billings, 66 degree dew point. That is very uncomfortable. Across the Gulf Coast states, we're seeing 70s, mid-70s there. Atlanta, notice the 61. They are back behind that boundary that Michael was talking about earlier. Very comfortable conditions as we had a little bit drier air filtering through mid-50s there into the northeast as well. Those surface winds out to the west, 9-mile-per-hour wind coming into Denver out of the southeast. And then we do have very brisk conditions there over in San Francisco. And then really an overplay of Tropical Storm Chris there. You see that counterclockwise flow there around Tropical Storm Chris. That's a little over dramatized there with those winds. All across the country, though, a lot of rain activity, especially across the south, Dallas down toward Houston, San Antonio, even across the Four Corners region. And we don't have too many warnings, though, really, all about heat. Really, it's about heat and air quality. We do have a few severe thunderstorm warnings. We'll zoom into those right now. From I-10, from Phoenix back down toward Tucson, severe thunderstorm warnings there, and even a flash flood warning, too, as we start to see areas that aren't used to picking up a lot of precipitation and rain in a short amount of time can really spell problems there. Really a welcome sight, though, across the Four Corners region. Hopefully this will help alleviate that drought there. You see exceptional drought across the Four Corners region. We'll have that next drought monitor come out for Thursday. Air quality alerts there for Phoenix and Tucson. We have the heat advisory there in Nevada, so we'll have to get some relief into the overnight hours. And right now in the northern tier of the country and in the Dakotas, we're starting to see this boundary, and it's really that we've got some severe storms that are across the Dakotas back toward Montana and then into Wyoming. These are ridge riders, and they're coming from Rapid City back up toward Bismarck. They're on the northern tier of that area of high pressure out west, and it's providing enough lift for those storms there. Tomorrow we will repeat the pattern again. Slight risk of severe storms that will contain damaging winds from Billings back toward Bismarck there. That yellow indicates that slight risk of severe weather. And what we're for sure about is this area of high pressure really helping out the northeast. Really clear conditions, Pennsylvania, New York, back into Vermont and New Hampshire. And what's happening there is we are seeing the air quality alerts there, New York, Philadelphia, Washington, D.C., Baltimore. Very uncomfortable conditions there as that air is just sitting there in those locations. Tonight, 66 Denver, 77 Salt Lake City. A little bit of improvement, but not much relief from the heat back there. And tomorrow, repeat of the process. The heat is back on 98 Denver, 88 Albuquerque, and some more 98. Look at that, 98 in Billings. Very uncomfortable conditions out west with that high pressure. And now we're going to take a look around Florida with Michael.
Yeah, thanks, Kobe. Florida looking pretty typical for what you expect for July standards. Showers and thunderstorms scattered across the state. You can see 88 here in Tampa, 86 in Orlando, 87 in Tampa. A lot of the state is in the mid to upper 80s as your temperatures right now. And the dew points, similar for July standards, this is pretty normal. Middle to upper 70s, 73 in Tallahassee, 73 in Tampa, as well as in Orlando and West Palm Beach. So a lot of us have 73 dew points right now. Now we do have a lot of the sea breeze, showers and storms, and there's a little bit of an enhancement of those showers and storms in the Panhandle due to that stalled out boundary being nearby. Let's zoom into Central Florida first. You can see we had some thunderstorm activity move through Gainesville, Cedar Key, Perry, just to name a few locations, and you can see a lot of lightning associated with those storms. That was coming from the Atlantic sea breeze. Now, for tomorrow's forecast in Central Florida, 91 in Orlando, 89 in Cocoa Beach, 89 in Melbourne. Pretty typical forecast for Central Florida. And don't be surprised if you get a stray shower or thunderstorm from the daytime heating or the sea breeze. Now, out towards the northeast part of the state, you can see that shower activity we showed you just earlier moving down south. Just going off the Nature Coast right there. But you can see a lot of clear conditions in the Jacksonville metro region. Now for tomorrow, the drier air with the combination of that stalled out front just sagging a little bit south, and Chris, the northerly flow with that counterclockwise circulation, it will allow us to get more sunshine and heat up more quickly. 93 in Jacksonville, 92 in Gainesville. A little bit cooler along the coast for St. Augustine and Palm Coast. Now the Panhandle, you can see the sea breeze, showers and storms due to the Gulf sea breeze. You know, some drier, a little bit of a dry slot just along the Florida-Alabama border. But tomorrow it's going to be pretty typical sea breeze, showers and storms in Destin, Pensacola, and then drier in Crestview. And then there's your RPM forecast, and then we'll just jump towards tomorrow. Pretty typical Florida pattern. Let's send off to Jennifer with the tropics.
Thank you there, Michael. We're just tracking the tropics for you, and we have some action going on in the tropics. We actually have Tropical Storm Chris just off the coast of the Mid-Atlantic around the North Carolina, South Carolina area. So this is staying off the coast, and it's just meandering in this area. So it actually does have winds right now of about 70 miles per hour. So we actually are seeing it as a tropical storm. However, it's only 4 miles per hour 5 miles per hour away from becoming a hurricane. So we actually could see this becoming a hurricane tonight, heading into tomorrow as well. The models, our tracks are bringing it towards the northeast as the rest of the week. Wednesday, we'll finally see that northerly movement. However, we'll stay stationed off the coastline of North Carolina and South Carolina for the next few hours, even heading into tomorrow as well, until it makes that northerly track. So we'll start to see meander along most of these areas, which indicates that the storm is starting to ramp up a little bit. Spaghetti models are bringing this storm towards the northeast as we're heading on throughout the rest of the week. It's going to stay well off the coastline of the Atlantic, which is the reason why we're not seeing any tropical alerts associated with this. No warnings or watches associated with Tropical Storm Chris for most of the Atlantic coastline. So we will actually see some higher waves associated with this, but rip currents are really the only main threat with this. Hurricane hunters did head out to the storm earlier. They actually recorded wind measurements of about 70 miles per hour. Those were the maximum wind speeds associated with the storm, which does indicate it as still a tropical storm. We'll see it ramp up a little bit tomorrow as they make another flight into the storm tomorrow heading for those. Wind fields indicate that the storm is actually going to increase in strength throughout the rest of the week. So we will actually see the storm just keeping the size. So it is staying off the coastline. We have no high winds associated with this storm for the Atlantic coast, which means that the storm will not affect most of the U.S. Coastline. We will have some surf associated with this across most of the mid-Atlantic coastline. We actually do have a threat of rip currents across most of North Carolina, mainly along the Outer Banks associated with this storm. So that is something to keep an eye on throughout most of this. Temperatures, though, are staying fairly warm with this storm, so it is starting to fuel it up quite a bit. And the RPM forecast is indicating that the storm will stay off the coastline, just meandering here and there across most of the for today, heading into tomorrow. By tomorrow afternoon and into Wednesday is when we'll start to see it making that northeaster track, staying well off of the Atlantic coastline. We're done with Alberto and also Beryl. We could see Beryl actually making its way back into the forecast for tomorrow, heading into the rest of the week. Then the National Hurricane Center is giving it a 50% chance of redevelopment heading throughout the rest of next week. We are right now on Chris, so that is something to look forward to. The rest of the names actually on the list right now, some of them are Oscar and Patty. So as we take a look at locally, FSU Weather Stem is indicating some clouds here across most of Tallahassee. We actually see some pops of sunshine here and there, but some rain across most of the skyline, across most of the Big Bend region. 88 degrees here in Tallahassee. We're keeping the scattered thunderstorms throughout most of the region with that northerly wind due to that stationary front that's located just towards the north of us. Temperature-wise, we are fairly warm. We actually do have some rain-cooled spots across for areas like Quincy, who did see some showers. Rain-cooled temperatures in those locations, 77 degrees there, as well as 88 degrees here in Tallahassee, 90 degrees in Bainbridge, so they're actually seeing some sunny skies in that location right there. We do have some sea breeze activity across most of the southern portions of our viewing area, which is indicating that some storms are actually developing in these areas. So we do have a stationary front located just towards the northeast of us. It is keeping the storms mainly towards this side of mainly towards the coastline of the southeast. Areas like Atlanta heading into South Carolina actually aren't seeing any rain associated because of this stationary front. And this front is actually keeping Chris well off into the Atlantic, so that actually won't be a threat for any of us around here. The radar is indicating the showers and storms thanks to the sea breeze converging with the wind from our north as well. So we do actually have quite a bit of storms developing. These will start to die off as we get into the overnight hours. So by the morning, we'll actually see the most of the skies clearing up. Your RPM forecast is indicating that storms die off throughout most of tonight, and by tomorrow, we'll see the sunshine in the mix throughout most of the morning, maybe some overcast clouds here and there across our southern portions of the viewing area. By tomorrow, we'll actually keep the forecast for the rain fairly low because we actually do have some drier air thanks to that stationary front. So we will see, we may see a few showers and storms along our coastline. However, most of the Big Bend region will not have much rainfall associated with tomorrow. So tonight's forecast, 71 degrees for Thomasville as well as 71 degrees for Monticello, 73 for Tallahassee. We do keep the chances for some thunderstorms in the picture. Tomorrow's forecast is going to be a fairly nice one. We only have about a 20% chance of rain for the Big Bend region, 93 degrees for Thomasville as well as 93 for Valdosta. Your 7-day forecast, day planner is actually indicating 74 degrees for start of the day tomorrow. Your 7-day forecast showing not a lot of rain in the forecast. You can also follow us on social